Kels, Queen of the Flowery Isles. There once lived a queen who ruled over the Flowery Isles. Her husband died a few years after their marriage. The grief never fully healed. So she devoted herself entirely to the education of the two princesses, her only children. As they grew up, the queen greatly feared Lily's, the eldest's, exquisite beauty would excite the jealousy of the Queen of all the Isles. For the Queen of all the Isles prided herself on being the most beautiful woman in the world and insisted on all rivals bowing before her charms. In order to better gratify her vanity, she had urged the king, her husband, to make war on all the surrounding islands. And he did, as his only wish was to please his queen, with only one condition. Any newly conquered country's princess of royal blood should attend their court as soon as she turns 15 years old, and do homage to the beauty of his queen. The Queen of Flowery Isles was fully determined to present her daughter to the proud queen on the day of her 15th birthday. The young princess's great beauty had become known, and word had spread to the queen, who awaited her visit with some anxiety.
Oh, sorry. Are you ready, my princess?
Yes, Mother.
The queen's anxiety soon developed into jealousy. For when the meeting finally took place, it was impossible not to be dazzled by her radiant charms. And she was obliged to admit that she had never beheld anyone so exquisitely lovely. But nothing could have made her believe it possible that anyone could eclipse her.
I'm afraid I've come down with something. We will have to continue this at another time.
The outspoken admiration of the entire court made her so angry that she pretended illness and retired to her room. She sent word to the Queen of the Flowery Isles that she was sorry not to be well enough to see her again. She entrusted to one of the great ladies of the court to advise her to return to her own states with the princess. But she was an old friend of the Queen of the Flowery Isles, so the queen was not slow to take the hint. Well aware of the magic powers of the incensed queen, she warned her daughter that she was threatened by great danger and mustn't leave the palace for any reason during the next 6 months. The 6 months were nearly over. On the very last day, a splendid fete was to take place in a meadow near the palace. The princess implored her mother to let her go as far as the meadow, and the queen, thinking all risk must be over, promised to take her.
Don't run too far ahead, Lily.
I won't, Mother.
The queen and her court was delighted to see their much-loved princess at liberty.
Be careful.
Aren't you a lovely dog? Where did you come from? Where are we? One minute I was with my mother and sister, then next I'm here. Lead the way, doggy.
Oh my! Look at what you found for me.
The princess ran to this lovely spot, sits down on the grass to enjoy the moment, which doesn't last long as she begins to think of the misfortune and bursts into tears.
This fruit and fresh water will prevent me from dying. But what if a wild beast appears and tries to eat me?
The princess spent the day near the fountain, trying to distract her mind by playing with the little dog. But as night drew on, she wondered what she should do.
What is it? Okay, fine.
Tired out with all she had gone through, she soon fell asleep. Here she ate more fruit, drank some water. She walked amongst the flowers, played with her little dog, and at night returned to sleep in the cave. Several months passed in this fashion, and as her terrors eventually died, she became resigned to her fate. One day she noticed that her companion seemed sad and did not even caress against her as usual.
Are you okay, boy?
Fearing he might be ill, she carried him to a spot where she had seen him eat some particular herbs, hoping they might do him good, but he would not touch them. When she awoke, her first thought was for her little pet. She ran out of the cave to look for him.
Hello?
The old man disappeared so fast, she barely had time to see him. She wondered if her little dog had strayed away or if the old man had stolen him.
Where is Mother? She didn't survive the shock of you going missing. Oh no!
The younger princess had worn the crown, which she now resigned to her sister, to whom it rightfully belonged.
We shall share in all the power.
The first acts of the new queen were to honor the memory of her dear mother. Still very grieved at the loss of her little dog, she had a search made for him in every country. And when he couldn't be found, she was so grieved she offered half her kingdom to whoever found him. Men set off in all directions in search of the dog, but all returned empty-handed. In despair, the queen announced life was unbearable without her little dog, and she would give her hand in marriage to the man who brought him back to her. The prospect of such a prize quickly turned the court into a desert. Whilst the world search continued, the queen was informed one day that a very ill-looking man wished to speak with her.
Speak your piece.
I am prepared to give the queen her little dog if she is ready to keep her word about marriage.
The queen has no right to marry without the consent of the nation, and the General Council must be summoned on such an important occasion. You will be given an apartment in my castle whilst a council convenes to discuss what will be done.
Thank you, my queen.
Next day, the council assembled, and by the princess's advice, it was decided to offer the man a large sum of money for the dog, and should he refuse, banish him from the kingdom. But the man refused the offer and left the hall. Daisy informed the queen of what had passed, and the queen decided that as she was her own mistress and made up her mind to relinquish her throne and to wander the world till she had found her little dog.
Wander the world for a mere dog? You could have any dog or man you wanted. My mind is set, sister.
Whilst they were discussing the subject, a chamberlain appeared to inform them that the bay was covered with ships.
Look at all the ships. They must be from a friendly nation. How can you tell? Every vessel is decked out with flags, streamers, and banners, and the lead ship flies a great white flag of peace.
The queen sent a special messenger to the harbor, and soon learned that the fleet belonged to the Prince of the Emerald Isles, who begged to land in her kingdom and present his humble respects to her. The queen begged him to be seated, and for about an hour kept him in close conversation. "My queen, I have some very strange things to tell you, which only you would know to be true.
Very well. Go on.
I am a neighbor of the Queen of all the Isles, a small isthmus that connects part of my states with hers. One day, while hunting a stag, I had the misfortune to meet her, and, not recognizing her, I did not stop to salute her with proper ceremony. You, madam, know better than anyone how vengeful she is. I learned both facts to my cost. I soon found myself in a faraway land, transformed into a little dog. It was then I had the honor to meet your majesty. But the queen's vengeance was not satisfied, so she further changed me into a hideous old man. I was so afraid of being unpleasant in your eyes that I hid in the depths of the woods. I was fortunate to meet a benevolent fairy who delivered me from the proud queen's power. She told me of your adventures and where to find you. The Queen of Isles' vanity and jealousy caused too much mischief. The fairies took all her power away for a punishment. I now come to offer you a heart which has been entirely yours, madam, since first we met in the desert." Days later, news was sent through the kingdom to proclaim the marriage of Queen Lily to the young prince. And they lived happily for many years and ruled their people well.